What's going on, Raptors family? Civ checking in, and welcome back to another Civ's Advanced Analysis NBA Edition video. A subsection here on the channel where I not only talk about the recent trades that happened in the NBA world, being in the trade deadline or in the offseason, but also I give you all as fans a little taste as to what you can expect from the players as they join your respective clubs in the foreseeable future. And today, everyone, being Raptors family, we got a special video because we got some new acquisitions that are going to be joining the Raptors club for the second half of the season as well as future seasons to come. But unfortunately for us, while we initially was projected to have 3 new acquisitions joining the club, after latest reports we find out that there's only one person. And to provide more context into the situation, initially for the Raptors, we acquired Brandon Ingram, PJ Tucker, and James Wiseman through the trades. However, right after the trades happened, we found out from the front office of the Raptors as well as other news outlets that one, PJ Tucker is not going to be joining the Raptors due to him not really going to be part of the Raptors rotation. I believe it's because he is a little too old for the Raptors system, but that's just speculation. And number 2, for James Wiseman, after the trade happened with him, we found out through news outlets as well as the front office that the Raptors have waived James Wiseman. I believe mainly because we do not know how long James Wiseman's injury is going to last. So I don't think the Raptors want to have him taking up a roster spot in that sense. So that is why we did that, I believe. And with all that being said, that only leaves us with the one remaining player that is going to be rocking with us for the second half of the season as well as the future seasons, which is Brandon Ingram. So in today's video, everybody, we're going to be breaking down Brandon Ingram's game, more specifically his gifts on the basketball court and what this means for the Raptors going forward. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, right off the bat, when we think of Brandon Ingram, we think of a person that has multiple abilities, and rightfully so, especially given the fact that Brandon Ingram is the second pick in the 2016 NBA draft. The same draft as Jakob Poeltl, who the Raptors selected at 9th. But coming back to Brandon Ingram, even though this man had a high ceiling coming into the NBA, you can really tell that he has definitely improved his game as he continued in the NBA, especially during his time in the New Orleans Pelicans, because not only did he improve his mid-range and three-point shot, but also as of late for the New Orleans Pelicans, not only was he able to stretch the floor out and provide more opportunities for his teammates to get more efficient shots, but also in the clutch, they look to Brandon Ingram as the X factor to close out games, especially given the fact that he can create any shot for himself at any specific moment. And Brandon Ingram definitely delivered on that front. So I believe that for the Raptors, especially with acquiring him at the trade deadline, not only will the Raptors be able to count on him for those clutch moments, but also to help him continue to develop his mid-range and three-point shot as well as his floor spacing so that people like Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, as well as any other players on the Raptors can really get more efficient shots at a very effective pace. But with that being said though, I don't think that is the only reason why the Raptors decided to trade for Brandon Ingram. In fact, I believe another reason is the defense. Because when you look at the Raptors players up to this point, the one thing that all of them have in common for the most part is that they are two-way players. Being they love to play offense and they love to play defense. And I believe that Brandon Ingram is no exception, because even though in New Orleans Pelicans he was playing a lot of offense, especially given the circumstances, he does play defense, and surprisingly it was overshadowed by his offense. But he does have some defensive abilities, being he can steal the ball when necessarily and he can be a defensive presence. And I believe that with the Raptors, and as he continues to help the Raptors and grow with the Raptors will be able to bring out his defensive sides and make him a very complete player, which will definitely help the Raptors, especially as we continue growing in the future seasons to come and we pursue that playoff hunt as well as championships. And I believe that as of right now, and the way that Brandon Ingram is projected to improve with the Raptors, he's going to definitely be a part of the success that the Raptors get in future seasons to come. Now, even though we talked about Brandon Ingram's game up to this point, there are two major concerns that the Raptors should have with Brandon Ingram up to this point. And number one is his financial concerns, and number two is his injury concerns. Firstly, for his financial concerns, the truth of the matter is Brandon Ingram's current contract ends at the end of this year. So that means that the Raptors need to re-sign him in order for Brandon Ingram to be part of the Raptors' future plans, being next season and the seasons to come. And from what I'm hearing from the Raptors front office as well as other media outlets, whether that be on Twitter, Instagram, or anything related to the Raptors, it seems that the Raptors wouldn't have traded for Brandon Ingram if they weren't sure that Brandon Ingram is going to re-sign with the team. In fact, we are later told in the press conference that we had with Bobby Webster that Brandon Ingram intentionally wanted to play with the Raptors, especially now, and that is definitely reassuring because it just proves that Brandon Ingram wants to be here for the long run. So, Raptors family, that takes care of Brandon Ingram's financial concerns. So, with that being said, that leads us to the second problem, which is the injuries. And that is something that we need to be a little bit more considerate about, because up to this point for Brandon Ingram, especially in New Orleans, he had a lot of injuries, whether that be on his ankle or around his legs. And for him, that is to be expected, especially given the fact that he's 6'8". But what is concerning to me is in his time in New Orleans, even though he had those ankle injuries, he was out for a long period of time. And you can blame that on the Pelicans medical staff because they didn't do a really good job of healing their players. But regardless of that, that is something that has been bothering Brandon Ingram, and it is something that is making him, especially his value, drop tremendously. However, with that being said though, I believe that when Brandon Ingram joins the Raptors, that will be immediately fixed, because not only do we have a really good medical staff right now, but the same Raptors medical staff helped Kawhi Leonard not only be his best during that championship run in 2019, but also during his time on the Raptors. There was hardly any situations where Kawhi Leonard got injured, or at the very least, if he was injured somewhat, he continued to play regardless of it. And I believe the same thing will be said for Brandon Ingram, because through the medical attention that the Raptors will be able to give him, not only will he be able to play at a much effective rate, but also I believe that the chances of him sitting out and missing time will be extremely limited going forward. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on Brandon Ingram joining the Toronto Raptors. And overall, I'm pretty interested on this trade, not only because of Brandon Ingram's skills, but also I'm interested to see how Brandon Ingram is going to continue to develop his game alongside the Raptors squad, whether that be Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, or Jakob Poeltl, or the rest of the Raptors squad. Because if he continues to grow his game the same way that he's been growing in New Orleans or in LA with the Raptors, man, oh man, is it going to be fun times for the Raptors family in the future seasons to come, whether that be the second half of this season or in future seasons. So I can't wait to see the growth that Brandon Ingram has. But with that being said, let me know in the comments below how you all feel about this trade. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you feel the same way that I feel, being super optimistic about this trade? Or are you kind of confused on the Raptors' direction, especially given the fact that they traded for Brandon Ingram at this specific time in their career or in their plan? Let me know in the comments below how you all feel. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video where we talk more trades, more Raptors basketball, or more sports in general. And as always, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And until the next video, Civ signing out.